was coughing a lot, so I thought not to take the class. But here we are. We'll continue with Ansible. I hope you got a long time. I hope you practiced everything what has been covered previously. As I told you, Ansible, one of the most important tool for us, right? And if I say, if you want to have some tool which you really want to be the best in DevOps, it should be Ansible and Jenkins, okay? And then for infrastructure, of course, AWS, right? And then we come to Docker, then I'll tell you, how it's very important for the future, right? For the current, Ansible is the most important tool for us, Ansible and Jenkins, okay? So we covered last time what is Ansible, config tools, centralized management, right? Has a lot of features, right? In very plain language, is an automation tool. It can automate things for you. Automate like automating system admin tasks, automating cloud computing tasks, automating databases tasks, or automating network related tasks. So it has capability of automating variety of tasks, right? So we are seeing its basic, the connectivity, right, from Ansible machine. So as I told you, Ansible, we don't call on Ansible server, we call it as control machine, all right? Control machine that controls your entire infrastructure. So let's come up over here. So I'm going to reiterate what we did previously. I'm going to install Ansible and set up everything from the scratch, and then we'll continue from there, okay? So I have VM here, Vagrant as such, and I have created 3 EC2 instance also, okay? Just to show you in case how we're going to do it if you're doing it on EC2 instance. Vagrant VMs we are using just because it's fast and quick access, local access. But in real time, you'd be doing this on a cloud account, right? You're probably creating an EC2 instance. One thing you have to understand, like people sometimes ask me, how do we do this on cloud, or how do we do it on virtual machine, or how do we do it on physical machine? Well, I find frankly that question of no use, okay, without head and tail. See, it does not matter to us whether the machine is on the cloud, on a VM, or it's a physical machine. All that matters to us is what's its IP address, its username and password. That's all. If you're able to connect it from your machine, that's all. It does not matter whether it's a VM, okay, it's on the cloud, it's in the physical machine. All we need is a network connectivity, right? We need a shell. That's all. We need to do SSH to it. If you can do SSH to it, that's all. Our problem is solved, right? So here I am back in the control machine, which has badly the name as it is badly named as DB, but it's a control machine. Okay, so I'm going to install Ansible in this. So Ansible installation steps. So these things, since it's already done, I'm gonna just redoing it. All right. If you have any question, you can interrupt me and ask me. Okay.
Imran, this is Kalyan. I have a question. So currently installing the Ansible repository, or
yeah, we added the Ansible repository right now.
okay.
So we got the installation step from the Ansible documentation itself directly, and the
Right.
same steps in the book. So we
Okay.
add the repository, we update our packages, and then we install Ansible. That's all.
Okay.
So people Ansible can be directly installed without adding the repository also. But if you install Ansible like that, that comes of an older version. Okay, if you add the repository from the Ansible itself, then you get the latest version of Ansible and with all the dependencies. Like for example, a program called SSH pass will not get installed if you download it from the Ubuntu repository. Okay, so that's a dependency if you're providing password in clear text. Okay, excuse me. All right, so by the time the installation happens, we'll discuss about the inventory. We'll just reiterate quickly. So inventory file. Um, Inventory is a file which stores the information about the host, what's going to be the host name, its IP address, its credentials. Now, credentials can be in the form of username and password, or it can be also in the form of keys. Okay, the best way I told you is to do the key exchange. All right, do the key exchange. All right. If not, then you have to give username and password in clear text format like this. All right. Giving the name of your host is very important. So give the name, use this variable to give IP address and this to give username and password. Okay. Then you can create groups, right? Like for example, if you want to execute some task on multiple web servers, so you'll create a group named as web servers. The name is not mandatory. As I told you, you can give any name, but should be relevant. And you can add all the hosts that you define in the same inventory file down here. Okay, no matter how many they are, 10, 15, 20, 50. Right, just give all the host name over here, then you can execute the task directly on the group. You don't need to execute one by one on the host. Right, same any other group you create. Right, then you can create group of group also. Okay. Yeah, so the ad hoc command, we give the command Ansible -i inventory path, give the name of the inventory if it's locally, or otherwise we give the complete path. -m stands for the module. We give the name of the module. So ping module just checks the connectivity between Ansible control machine to the host that's there in your inventory file. Okay, so ping is not like a network ping, it's an SSH. It will do an SSH and come back. If it's a success, you see success over here. All right, and it's a soft touch module, does not change anything on the target node, right? So change is going to be false. All right. So the first thing is that you create the inventory file. Second, you check the connectivity, and third, you have to create the Ansible configuration file that I'm going to show you today. All right, so I have to get the IP address of web and DB machine. Yeah, that is very slow. So when you do Vagrant SSH to an Ubuntu based machine, it's going to be very slow. Okay, and but I know the fix. So in SSHD_config file, that's the path. I'll put that in the chat. Okay, so you open this file, you go to the end of the file, you'll say use DNS no. It's not going to do a DNS search for the domain. Then you restart SSH service, and this is required only in Ubuntu. CentOS, it's already done. See, fast SSH. All right. So I'll just put the file name over there. This is if the SSH is slow. Okay. So on the SSH server, the machine where you are doing SSH, you can make these changes if you're not using any local DNS. Okay. And the setting is use DNS. No. Okay. And then restart SSH. Right. Once you do this, your SSH will be faster. Okay. You can try that. Let me do that for the web machine also. We need to have fast SSH because Ansible uses SSH to connect to its node. So it's Ansible, when we do run any command, anything to the target node, it makes an SSH connection. If SSH is slow, our execution will be slow. So we'll make SSH faster. We have to. Use DNS no, save and quit. And then make sure you restart SSH. All right, done. 1.9 and 1.10, that's the IP address. Okay, so let me log in to the Ansible control machine. We'll create an inventory file first of all. I have to make changes on the control itself. See, there are two SSH config file. SSHD is for the server and SSH underscore config is for the client. Okay, so you have to edit this one. Okay, now let's come to the home directory. Okay, now we'll create a directory called for the project. Okay, then we go into that directory and we create a directory named as Ansible. Ansible does not follow any directory structure, so you can create directory with any names. Okay, except for some places where I'll show you. So first thing you create is going to be the inventory file. Inventory name can be anything. I'm just choosing this name, and in this I give first the host name. Let's say I have one web server, Ansible underscore SSH underscore host 192.168.1.9 and Ansible underscore SSH underscore user. Yes, to migrate.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Imran, I have the three VMs in the complete ID find in the Vagrant file, but whenever I hit Vagrant up, it's just bringing one VM at a time. So how do I just want every VM to be up on F5 only one command?
Can you show me the Vagrant file? Can you put it on the chat?
Yeah, the one which you shared with me. Just give me 1 minute.
It should bring all three, the one I shared. Need to check what's the problem. Servers. Okay, so I created two groups and I added only one host in that because we have only one host. If we have multiples, we can add multiples. Okay, so you can create multiple VMs. So do you know? So we'll do it on AWS also. So you can put multiple EC2 instance. Okay, make sure the name is defined in the inventory file for the host. All right, and then we can create group of groups. So I'll say, my project web db colon children. So I created a parent group and I can add child group into this. So like that, I can group multiple groups together also. Okay. Then I can see and put config document to web starts here, ends here. What's this box? Is this box for real? Does this box exist on Vagrant Cloud? CentOS /6?
Yes, Imran.
Are you sure? I have never seen such box.
No, I have like went to the cloud only. I got that information like.
Vagrant. I have never seen this box. Okay, see, Vagrant file starts here, ends here. All right. So config.window define web. So you're saying only web is coming up? Or which one is coming up?
See what happens when I hit Vagrant up. First web will come up. It second DB will means I need to hit again and again that command 3 times in order to get my 3 VMs up. When I halt, just all the 3 VMs go down at a time. So why why it's making me to hit 3 Vagrant up in order to get the 3 VMs up? That's what my concern is. So I'm not any passing any
Okay.
variable like DB or web or control in order to particular means when I fire Vagrant up, it should get me all the VMs up. That's what my concern.
All right. Let me check the Vagrant file. This looks good. Probably
Yeah.
some issue with your Vagrant setup itself. Or what version of Vagrant you're having. Can you give me the Vagrant version so I can verify maybe something changed?
Sure.
Put the Vagrant version in the chat. We'll talk after the class about this. Okay. All right. So I have the inventory file. Okay. So now I can say Ansible -I inventory path -m ping web 01, and this is going to give me error, right? So we know we have to fix it by giving etc ssh, sorry, etc ansible.cfg file. So host key checking is enabled. So that means it's every time going to ask us questions. Should you do the SSH or not? Okay, it's a read-only file. I have to open it with sudo because I'm logged in as Vagrant user. Host underscore key underscore checking. Find this entry, you uncomment this should be false. Okay. This is the global Ansible configuration file. If you want to change any default parameter of Ansible, when you install Ansible, it has so many default parameters, options and configurations. Excuse me. If you want to change those, you edit this file. Now you can use the global file or you can create the file locally also. Okay, like you can have this file in the same place where you have the inventory. That's going to be a local file and this will have the higher priority. Okay, so we'll create that file locally. So this is the format. First in the square bracket you say defaults. Okay, and then here itself you can say host underscore key underscore checking equal to false, and you can also give the inventory path here. You can just say inventory equal to, give the name of your inventory. I believe that's the name of my inventory file. So you created your own Ansible configuration file now, okay? And now let's do it again. Ansible -i. You don't need to give -i in inventory since you already defined it in Ansible configuration file, right? And hopefully that's the same name. Yeah. If you already defined, then you don't need to give it, okay? So you just say Ansible -m ping web01 and voila, problem fixed. Okay, you can also use all will just use that model and put it on and do it ping on all the hosts from your inventory file. Okay, Vagrant version 2.0. Okay, let me check that. What's mine? I think mine is 1.9. Probably they changed something. Okay, yeah, so always remember, if you want to write it down, write it down. Before you do any automation in Ansible, the first thing you do is you create a directory for yourself, okay, which is going to be your repository, right? You create an inventory file, put all the host information and credential, then you create Ansible configuration file, and then after that only you start to do any kind of automation. Okay, don't just directly jump on writing the playbooks and all. We're going to cover playbooks and all today, how to write the Ansible code or script. Don't directly jump and start writing the code. First, set up the entire base infrastructure. Okay, get the IP address, all the credentials. First requirement is you create a directory, you put an inventory file there, you create your own Ansible configuration file. Always create your own Ansible configuration file. Don't depend on this global file. Okay, and this will have higher priority. So any configuration that you need to change, you can do it on in your own file locally. Okay, so again, let me repeat: directory, inventory file, Ansible configuration, right? Then you continue and start doing automation. Okay, now ping is a module. Ansible has lots and lots of modules. Okay, you can run Ansible -doc command, okay, and -l. Run this command. It will show you list of all the modules that came with the package. Okay, and this is the list. Okay, and it's a very long list. Okay, like we have plugins in Jenkins, lots of plugins, hundreds of plugins. Here also you have hundreds of modules. Okay, every module is a pre-written code which you can call, okay, to do some kind of automation, do or execute some task. For example, apt. So apt says manages apt packages. We use like apt get install to install packages, or we run apt-get update, or we run apt-get remove. So any kind of apt operation, if you want to do, you can use the apt module. Okay, like ping is a module, apt is also module. Okay, if you want to add a repository, you see there is apt_repository. Okay, add or remove, add apt repository. Okay, now this list is very long. You had some experience in your past, so you must have used some tools or some technologies, right? You come from different background, testing, database, right, SAP and all those things. So try to find a module of your choice, right? And you see, you can read in detail. I'll show you. So the list is very long. You see Azure to manage Azure cloud, right? Big IP, and it's very long. Okay, you can search for Yum. Yum is a module to install packages or remove packages. If you have to do anything with Yum, you can use Yum module, okay, to do that task. Okay, list is very long. All right, so we definitely cannot go through all the modules, but we'll see the most used module we gonna use in our day-to-day DevOps operations. But that's not just limited to it. Okay, the list is very long. Another place is you have the Ansible documentation. So let me open up the browser here. That's the Ansible documentation. Okay, simply hit Ansible documentation. So this is the holy grail for the Ansible. It has everything and anything that you need, and it's amazingly written documents. All right. So in my career, I have seen so far lots and lots of tools. All right. Now initially when we learn and when we do, and most of the time I was in R&D, and I know whenever we do a research on any tool to incorporate in our infrastructure, we don't have any training or any such kind of thing. We have to go through the documentation. So I've been learning from the documentation from long time, right? Documentation of any tool. So far, I have seen Ansible. It has the best documentation. All right. Second goes to Vagrant, I would say, in DevOps. Okay. They have really amazing documentation. Right. You don't need to go any other place. You don't need to do Google. You don't need to post it on forum. Right. If you come here, you find everything. Okay. Just need to look at the right place. So, for example, let's click Getting Started. Okay. Now I was showing you Ansible configuration file. I've shown you two configurations there: host key checking and inventory. Right. Let me click on configuration file here. So here you have lots and lots of configurations. Okay, that we can use. Excuse me. For example, forks. Click on forks. So there's a question in Ansible they generally ask: how do you do parallel operation? Like, Ansible will do SSH for one host at a time. If you want to do 5 at a time, in the configuration file, you just say forks equal to 5, and it's going to do 5 SSH connection at a time, right? So if you have, like, you're trying to install a package on 50 nodes, right? And you say forks 10 here, so it's going to connect to 10 machine at a time. So that is going to be faster, but you have to make sure your Ansible control machine has good amount of memory and CPU and network bandwidth. All right, like that, there are a lot of configuration file. For example, password. We have defined password in the inventory file. Okay, I told you the best way is to do the key exchange, but if you still don't want to do key exchange also, SS key exchange, then you can use ask pass. If you don't provide the password in the inventory file, it's gonna fail. But if you say, ask me the password whenever you do SSH, just ask me the password. Okay, I'll enter it manually. If you want to do that, you can use ask pass configuration, ask pass true. Okay, if the sudo is asking you password when you do sudo, then you can say ask sudo pass. So let it ask the sudo password also, and you can enter the sudo password also. Okay, like that, there are lots of configuration over here. All right. So when do you come here for the Ansible configuration? Whenever you want to change the default behavior of Ansible. Simply understand, right? You're trying to do something and you think, I wanted this to execute a different way. It should ask me password, right? So that's not the default behavior of Ansible, but if you want to change that, you come into this configuration section, right? You find your favorite, your choice of configuration and you use it, right? Like that, there are so many, all right? Like host file is deprecated, inventory is the latest one to provide the inventory file. Host file and inventory does the same thing, but host file don't use now. Okay. No color. If you don't want any color, if you don't want colors, right? Like here you see, I don't know, have you seen colors? Because I don't bother too much about the colors, right? It's just such colors. If you don't want to see such colors, right? Then it's better you say no color, right? Yeah, there are lots and lots of options. Okay, and this thing just keeps growing and growing. All right. So that was about configuration. Okay, let's come back. Module index. Okay, this module index has all the modules. So you have different categories. Okay, system modules, cloud modules, right? Command modules, database modules, network modules, or you can click on all modules. See, once you get latched to this documentation, trust me, you won't need anybody's help. Okay, and every now and then I'll come back here and I'll show you, okay, this is here, and that is here. You don't need to get latched onto any document or anything. First, practice whatever I'm telling you to practice, and then get latched to this documentation, and you won't need anybody's help. Okay, so I'll walk you through. Right. For example, let's go for apt, because we're going to use that next. Yeah, click on apt. Okay, so it says manages app packages. Synopsis: manages app packages such as for Debian or Ubuntu. Okay, now I don't know how to use apt. Okay, but there are always, remember, there's going to be options for the modules. So for example, for ping modules, we have not used any options, okay? But for other modules, we have to use options. What I'm saying is Ansible, and I say -m apt. Okay, but I have to tell apt what, what pack do I need to install package, or yeah, I need to install package. What package? I should know the name. Should it be installed or removed? Okay, it should be installed. So all these questions will tell you the options for any module. Options or attributes would be given by -a. Okay, then you give double quotes, and in that you put all the options. So apt, so the name of the package, name is an option, name equal to, let's say, Apache 2. Okay, and what do you want to do? Install. So you have to say state equal to installed. Okay, and then you have to give --sudo to make sure that it takes the sudo's privilege, otherwise this will fail. And then you give the host name, or you can give the group name, web servers. So these options are there in the documentation. See, these are the options. So we use name, see, name, and you'll have a entire description of what you can provide in the name. Obviously name, you have to provide the name of the package. And first column is the parameter or the option. The second one says, is it required? Is it a mandatory option? Okay, some options are mandatory. Excuse me. So if they are mandatory, here you'll see yes, so you have to provide them. Okay, in app there is no option that is mandatory. You can use any of the option. Okay, default, some options are default even if you don't provide it. Okay, they are there. All right. Choices. So we said state, right? State. So by default it is present if you even if you don't provide it, right? So there are other options like you can give present, latest, absent. Okay, installed. I think they removed this node installed as of now. It's deprecated. So there is present and there is installed. Both does the same thing. Okay. So I executed it and it did install. Check this out. That's written a lot of outputs. It says web 01 success, and it's giving some information, cache update time. You see here changed true. Okay, that means something changed on web 01, right? What changed? All right. So it got some error also to us, right? And standard output. So apt will return you the standard output. Standard output for installing package is going to be another information, right? You see that, and it says install. Okay, let's run it one more time. What happens? Let's see if you run it one more time. So nothing happens. It didn't even try to install, right? It says web 01 success, right? Though it's telling you success, right? So that's the idempotent nature. I told you idempotent is some, if the system is in the same state. So I'm defining here state. I'm saying apt, all right, install this package. State is installed, right? I'm defining a state. And if the system web 01 is already in the same state, okay, it's gonna skip that. It's gonna see, yeah, success, yeah, it's in the same state, changed false. You see here, changed is false. So changed false will come 2 times for you. One, for the modules that does not do any changes, like for example, ping module does not changes anything. That's one place, and you'll get changed false on the other place when the system is in the same state. If the system is in the same state, it's not going to change. It's not even going to run the command. It's not even going to try that. Okay, so that's idempotent. All right, we also got some warning, deprecation warning. It is saying the sudo command line option has been deprecated in favor of become command. So deprecated means this will be removed in the next version. So it will saying that it will be removed in version 2.6. Okay, so my Ansible version is 2.4. Check this out. Yeah. So if I keep on using that sudo and I upgraded my Ansible to 2.6, okay, once the upgrade comes, then the sudo option will not work. So it's better we start adopting the latest options. Instead of sudo, you have to use become. Okay, How do you know? You know it like this. It tells you. See, the application warning gone. Okay, good. Now the package is installed. We have to make sure the service is running, the Apache 2 service. So for that, we have another module that says service. Okay, again, options you have to give. Double quotes, we'll say name equal to Apache 2, state equal to started, right? Hyphen hyphen become, sorry, tab servers. All right, that was quick, right? It says success change false, state is started. So why false? Whenever you install a service in Ubuntu, okay, the service automatically gets started. So Apache 2 is a service. I have installed it. As soon as I install it, it automatically gets started. I don't need to start it again. Okay, but in Red Hat family, in CentOS and RHEL, you have to start it. Doesn't get started automatically. Okay, the other options in service module is enabled. Yes, enabled means at the boot time, right? So when you reboot the system web server, so you want the Apache to come up as soon as it boots, so you have to say enabled equal to yes. So let's see if that changes. Yeah, change false, so that is also true. That's also automatically taken care. All right, so let's do something different. Okay, state not started, I'll say state stopped. Let me expand it. So I have this time I have said state stopped. Okay, stop it, and now it says yeah, change true. Right, state stopped. Right. So how do I know all these options? Well, I don't know. I just take it from the module index over here. Okay. So for example, for service, yeah, service, manage services. Okay. Here, let's say you see. Okay. Here required. Yes. So your name is a mandatory option. You have to provide it. Okay. Then state. So state values can be started, stopped, restarted, reloaded. So you can restart a service also, you can also reload a service. Okay, difference between reload and restart: restart, as the name says, it restarts the service, stops and start. Reload is going to reload the configuration. Okay, it does not restart the service. Okay, so if you don't want the service disruption, you can use reload options. Okay, down here you have some example, but this is for the playbook, which will start in few minutes. Okay, after I'll show you a few more things. So those are some modules. Okay, I'm gonna show you one more module. Okay, before we go and start writing the script. Now these are ad hoc commands. Okay, it's amazing if you want to do one single change. Let's say I want to restart a service on 100 machines. Okay, and let's say the service is Apache 2 or any service. I just use the service module. I give the group name over here, and this group contains 100 hosts in the inventory file. Okay, now I've been doing operations work from a very long time. Okay, around 9 years or so. Now doing that with one command on hundreds of machines, and that too so easily, was really a dream back then. Okay, probably we couldn't dream it also. We had scripts, we had to write scripts. That was complicated. Okay, lots of script, and you have to use for loops, conditions, and functions, and God knows so many things, right, to do simple operations. Okay, here I just create an inventory file. I put all the host information, and I want to restart a service on 100 machines. No big deal, same command. Okay, service Apache 2 state restarted, and you give the group name. Done. Right, in few minutes say restarted, right, and few minutes done. Okay, I want to update some package. There is some security bug. Okay, and if you have some security bugs in some package, those package has to be fixed ASAP, like double or triple ASAP if you want, right? It has to be done very quickly. because the vulnerability get exposed everywhere in the world. Every hacker in the world will come to know that there is a vulnerability which can be used to get into the system. So you have to fix those packages, you have to update those packages very quickly. Okay, in that case, if you already don't have any scripts or anything, okay, you'd be in a soup. But if you have Ansible, in minutes you'd be able to do that work, right? That's the power of Ansible. The change management is amazingly fast here. Okay, but provisioning, doing something from the scratch, you have to do so many steps. For that, we'll write playbooks, scripts. Okay, right, so let's use one more module. Okay, I want to take user. So I'll say Ansible -m, there is a user module. Okay, -a, and the options here are name of the user. Let's say Delta1. Okay, here pass equal to, so this password is not going to work out. You have to give an encrypted password. Okay, so in my book there is a way how to create an encrypted password first, and I have put it in the Facebook also 2 to 3 months ago, how to create an encrypted password. Okay, but this password is not going to work out. Okay, what I'm saying is you won't be able to log in with this password. Okay, so let's say I want to do it on DB servers. Put it parameter using pass. It should be password, I think. Okay, password. So the user got created, right? So quick, right? Let's do it on all the machines. Let's say all the machines from my inventory file. All right, that's great. So like that, the modules have long list. There are modules for VMware also. Creating a VM or doing some operation with the VM. All right, you can do those things also. Okay, now let's shift the focus on the book. Let's see what we have. So everything that I'm doing is there in the book. So you have these ad hoc commands, right? Host key checking error you're getting, how do you fix that? Always create your own Ansible configuration file. Don't depend on the global configuration file. Okay, then in the new from the Ansible 2.0 onwards, the variable in the inventory file that I have used, Ansible SSH user, SSH host. Okay, here SSH is dropped in the latest version, so you can directly use Ansible underscore host instead of Ansible underscore SSH underscore host. Okay, there is a reason why I put this one right in the book to show you that things changes. All right, like modules get deprecated, options get deprecated, things changes. Okay, you have to quickly adapt to the change. All right, now I've been using SSH from a long time, so I'm using the same thing. But if I don't change in few releases, I have to go back and update all my code. Okay, so it's better you start getting updated. And always it's gonna be, the updates are gonna be for the betterment. Like I hated those variable name, very long, Ansible underscore SH underscore user underscore, yeah. It's now shorter, right? That's better, right? So you adapt to the changes like that. Okay, so I have given some information about that also here, right? About modules, the list of modules, I have given the command, then some exercises over here, examples. Okay, starting a service, how do you start a service? Okay, output of ad hoc command is always going to be in the JSON format. You'll see the JSON format that we discussed last time. Okay, right, some more commands. So here you have yum. Okay, so apt module is not going to work for CentOS. You have to use yum module. Okay, and here similar kind of options. If you want to know the options, you know where to go. Okay, from the command line, you want to see all the options. You just say Ansible -doc and you say yum, for example. Okay, and here you'll see all the options. Okay, conf file, scroll down, right? You see name. So wherever there is an equal to symbol, that option is a mandatory option. So you have to provide the name option. Okay, and state. So whether to install, if you want to install, you can give present or installed or latest. If you want to remove, you can give absent or removed. All right, so these are the option. All right, now in Ubuntu, most of the time we used to say app get update to if you add any repository. If you want to do same thing with the module, you can say Ansible -m app module is used for the same thing -a, and here I'll give option which is update underscore cache equal to yes. And how do I know? Well, I did not know. I just was wondering how do you do app get update. So I went to the app module and I checked all the options and I found there. Okay, to update the cache, use update underscore cache equal to yes. And all right, sorry, I have to give the name of the host. So I'll say web servers. So you'll see mostly I'm giving the group name and not the host name. Okay. Okay, I have to give -- become also. I'm using web servers instead of web01, even though I have just one host. Okay, you also do the same thing. All right. If you want to specifically execute some task on just one host, then only give the host name. Okay, otherwise use groups. Groups are better. Okay, and you get habituated also slowly. All right. So that's going to continue and return. There's a long output. By the time, let's continue with our book. Ansible configuration, as I told you, okay, create your own Ansible configuration file. That's how you do it. You don't forget to give these defaults. Okay, over here is a default section. These are default options on the configurations. Right now, I'm gonna go to the next level. So so far we are executing some ad hoc commands. I'm gonna execute one more last ad hoc command before I show you what are Ansible scripts, the playbooks. So when we start writing our playbook and when you put all our configuration there, all our codes or there, whenever you execute the Ansible playbook or the Ansible script, if you want to say now, it executes a module which is called a setup. Setup module will collect the information about its target node. Okay, so for example, for web1, if you execute the setup module, excuse me, it collects a lot of information about that module. For example, its IP address, its host name, its DNS entries, its mount points, memory, CPU. You can think of anything. All right. So there is a tool called as Ohio. Okay. It's a simple tool that comes by default with Ubuntu system. I believe for CentOS you have to install it. Ohio, just install the Ohio if you don't have it and just run it. You see, it gives you information about the system. Okay. Now Ansible uses the same a tool to collect information about its target node. Okay. So but Ansible uses a module there, Ansible -m setup. Okay, and I'll say web01. So it's gonna find out all the information about web01 and print it into JSON format. Okay, softest module does not change anything, it's just to collect information. Okay, now this information, is it useful for us? Because it's too creepy, right? There's so many things. I can really get scared. Well, these are called as fact variables. You see, all the information is stored into form of variables. Okay, this side is key and this side is value. Okay, so you have lots and lots of variable which has some information. Okay, information that can be used later. I'll show you. We'll use some variables to find out what's the operating system. Is it Red Hat based or is it Debian based? What's the architecture? Is it 86, 64-bit architecture, 32-bit architecture? Okay, how many CPUs does it have? All right, what's the memory? Okay, what's the RAM size? Those kind of information it will find out. Okay, these are called as fact variables. Okay, so for example, Ansible architecture, you see this is a variable, its value is x86 64-bit. Okay, and we'll use this to make some decisions later. Okay, in our playbook we want to make a decision, if the architecture is 64-bit, install this package. If it's 32-bit, install the other package. Okay, like that. And operating system, what's the operating system? Operating system is, Debian, then use apt module. If operating system is Red Hat, use yum module. Okay, so there are some modules which we generally use a lot. For example, this one, Ansible underscore OS underscore family. Right, so this is, it's values Debian, so that means Web01 is a Debian based operating system. It's Ubuntu machine, so I know now I can use apt instead of using yum, and I can make decisions also like that. Okay, my playbook can handle that automatically. All right, so that's the setup module. So you can just run that and just read the option variable. Sometimes once in a blue moon in free time, I just run the setup module and read variables line by line. Okay, I don't need to memorize it. Okay, but sometimes you need to make some decision based on what's the configuration of the operating system. All right, so you can quickly remember, right? If keep on reading it sometimes, that I can use this variable to make some decisions, that kind of stuff. Okay, now that was about ad hoc command. Very simple, very easy, quick changes, right? But what if you want to do provisioning? I talked about the concept of provisioning. We're setting up something from the scratch, right? We have just an operating system. Now you want to set up Tomcat on that, okay? Or MySQL database or Oracle database, or you want to set up Apache, all right? With a lot of configurations. So that's going to be a lot of things. You need to install package, start service, change configuration, make firewall rule changes, take some log files, okay, to see what's happening. So there are so many things you need to do. If we do it through ad hoc command, that's going to be a lot of ad hoc commands to do one provisioning. Okay, so Ansible provides us playbooks. Okay, we don't call it as scripts because scripts means it's a programming language, but in Ansible we don't have a programming language. Okay, we have a language which is called as YAML. Okay, but it's not a programming language. Okay, it's a step-by-step declarative language, and it's better than XML. Now XML will present data in XML format. Like that, in YAML format we also present data, but YAML is made more human friendly, human readable. Okay, so I'm going to show you a sample playbook as of now, and then I'll show you how to write it one by one. I'm showing you just to give you comfort. I don't know, is it the right word? To make you comfortable, don't give you comfort, to make you comfortable. Okay, that Ansible is really very easy configuration tool. Okay, here there is no programming. You're gonna see this playbook first time probably if you're not read the chapter, and you'll still understand it. Okay, and try to understand. Check this out. So this is a Ansible playbook, or Ansible script if you want to call for now. So here it says host web server. So it's going to execute on a web server. Good. Become yes. So that's sudo, right? Now task, it says now there is list of tasks here. Okay, they say name, ensure Apache is installed. So I'm giving some name here, like a title kind of thing, and then yum. Okay, yum, yum. If you are if you ever used yum, you know what is yum, right? Name HTTP, state present. So by looking at this, you can easily understand that it's trying to install a package called HTTPD, okay, on web servers. Now creates directory. One more title here. Now it says file and path. This is the path state directory. So easily understandable that this is creating a directory, right? Ensure Apache is running. Okay, service name HTTPD enabled yes, state started. If you can understand, state started for HTTPD, that means it's going to start HTTPD. Enabled yes, it's going to enable it at the boot time. Right, that's good. Now another playbook, sorry, another play. Now this is one play. Now playbook consists of multiple plays. One play means either a host name or a group name here. Okay, then you have list of the tasks. This is one play. Now another play is for the DB servers. Okay, become yes, task. Okay, install this package, start this service, right? Simple step-by-step declarative. Okay, and we can also make it smart. I'll show you how to do that later. Okay, now this is written in a YAML format. Okay, like XML is also it's also a language of presenting some data. There's so many configurations, there's so many tools in the world, or so many services in the world. So many services and tools understand different kind of language. Some understands XML language, for example Maven. If you want to give some configuration, you have to give in XML format. Okay, Ansible understands the YAML format. Okay, now YAML is made human readable. Okay, it's good for your eyes. Okay, for example, if compare it with XML. Okay, both has the same purpose, providing configuration. But XML is really creepy. I get really scared while looking at XML. Okay, but if you see here, it's very readable. Okay, YAML. So it is made for human and machine both. Okay, a few basics you need to understand that I'll cover slowly. YAML basics, it's here. Okay, that you can go through it later. So let's write our first playbook. Okay, now I'm going to create some exercise
Imran,
directory.
ML is like
Yes,
case sensitive and like spaces. I see that this is like
yes,
we need to be very
yeah,
careful with the spaces and all that.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So I'm just creating exercise directory is different. So whatever we did can be considered as the first part of the exercise. Now we'll do second exercise. Okay, now I need an inventory file, as I told you. Okay, so I'm gonna copy it from the previous exercise. So inventory file, and likewise also the Ansible configuration file. I'm writing some code, okay, from the beginning. So I need an inventory file. So I created an inventory file. I copied it. You have to create it. Okay, Ansible -m ping all to check the connectivity. All right, both are connected. Okay, now I have Ansible configuration file also. Right, good. Now I can go ahead and start writing my playbook. Now, playbook name can be anything. Okay, I'm gonna just say web-db.yml. Okay, now first thing first, minus 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 or hyphen hyphen hyphen. Okay, it's not mandatory. Before you write any playbook, sorry, any YAML file, you give this 3 dashes, okay, which is not mandatory, but it's a good practice. If you have some interpreter that reads YAML file, it's going to read it properly. Okay, it's a representation that this is a YAML file. Okay, now YAML file consists of key value pairs and lists. Okay, list means any list that has multiple elements into that. Okay, so a playbook is list of plays, and elements in the list starts with a minus. It's going to be the first play. Hosts colon, so like we assign the value, okay, key and the value, so host colon, and then you give its value. So I'm saying web servers. Okay, that's the first element in the list. Okay, like that. Down here I'll have another element in the list, hosts colon db servers. Okay, and I'll come to that later, to the db server. Okay, now next, become colon yes, so it's like sudo. Okay, then I give tasks colon, and its value is going to be another list. Okay, and the spaces are very important. These two spaces are given over here. Okay, if you don't give the space, there's going to be some errors, okay, which I'll cover sometime. So task, now these are the global parameters. Okay, and they started with after two space 1 2, and task is actually another list of tasks. Its value is one more list. Okay, nested list. So you give two space, give a minus space, and then you give the first task. and you name your task, name colon, and you can name anything you want. Okay, it's like a title. So I want to install, make sure that Apache is installed. Okay, so I'll say uh, install Apache 2 on Ubuntu. Okay, that's just the name. Now I have to give the module. Okay, what module you're going to use? Apt colon name. Now the options: name Apache 2, state equal to installed. Okay, so this is the first element, the first play in the playbook. Okay, and DB server will be another play. Okay, now in this play you have task. Now task is also list of other tasks. So I have just one task. Okay, these spaces are very mandatory. Okay, and I'll make some error later and I'll show you. Okay, so now let's execute this. Save and quit. Run the playbook. You have to say Ansible hyphen playbook and you give the name of the playbook. Okay, okay, so it says play web server. That's the first play. Task gathering facts. So as I told you, when you execute the playbook, the first thing that execute is going to be the setup module. Okay, it says gathering fact. That's the first task. Okay, then it's saying install Apache 2 and it says okay, because since Apache is already installed, we installed it with ad hoc command. So here you don't see changed, here you just see okay. Okay, because it's idempotent. Now let's remove Apache 2 so we get the right output. Ansible hyphen m apt hyphen accent. All right, that's removed. Let's run the playbook. See, I have just one task in my playbook and that is for web server, but here you see two tasks. Okay, one is gathering fact, which is, I told you, every time you execute the playbook, it's going to execute this one. Okay, and the next one is the one that I created, install Apache 2 on Ubuntu, and it says changed web 01. The second play is for the DB server and there is nothing in that. All right, so still it is executing gathering facts. Okay, so it's executing the setup model that I've shown you. Okay, it generates a lot of variables. Okay, but since we are not using it, we can also disable it. Right, down here you see play recap. Say db01 1 is okay. All right, web 01 changed 1, okay 2. All right, and if it's unreachable, then you see unreachable 0, but you should never get this one, because as I told you, the best practice, you have to use ping module, check the connectivity first, then start writing your code. Okay, failed, if something fails, you see failed 0 here. Okay, now let's go back and edit our playbook. Okay, we'll make some changes. Now let's remove this play. Okay, let's focus only on one play now, which is for web server. Okay, all right, so as I told you, task is list of tasks. Okay, and everything should be indented, so this is called as indentation, the spaces. Okay, if you have some mistakes here in spaces, for example, I have given like this. Okay, execute this playbook, so I'm gonna get an error. Okay, and it says a syntax error while loading YAML. Okay, it says line number 6. Right, it says the error appears to be somewhere here, the offending line appears to be somewhere here. So whenever you get something like this, the offending line appears to be, it's not sure. Okay, and you can't be so much reliable on the line number. Okay, but whenever you get this offending lines, Majority of the time the problem is with the indentation, okay, with the space. So you go and fix it. Says line number 6. So you can say colon 6, it takes you to the line number 6, and you see, yeah, there is a problem. Okay, it should be in the same line. Okay, now next task you create again has to be in the same line. Name colon start Apache 2, and I'll use to start the service, I'll use the service module, service colon name equal to Apache 2, state equal to started. Okay, enable equal to yes. Right, that's the another task. Right. So what if by mistake I know I missed one space over here? It's very easy if you see. Okay, it is visible if you see this and this in the same line. Okay, but you know, when you have a lot of tasks, it's very easy to misplace these spaces. Okay, but don't worry, Ansible will warn you that there is some problem in the syntax and you can come and fix it. Okay, so how do you make sure everything comes in the right space? Okay, see, for me, it has become a habit. Okay, for you, initially just count your spaces. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 space, and you write your next task. Name colon create directory. Create directory, you have to use the file module. Name, sorry, path equal to slash var slash www slash html slash ansible my website, state equal to directory. Right, and don't wonder where I get this. Okay, I did it so many times, so I know it. You don't know, no problem. Okay, now this is going to be more helpful for you for playbooks rather than ad hoc commands. Okay, so where's the file module? Let's find the file module. And this is getting very long, man. Difficult. EFF file, set attributes of files. Okay, so much of information, blah 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 option. Okay, you can directly come into examples. It says change file ownership group mode when specifying using octal. Okay, so if you want to change the permission of a file, use it like this. Okay, file, and these are the options. Right, and exactly same you can put in the playbook. This is the new way of giving options in your playbook. Okay, this is the older way. Okay, equal to's. Right, so I'll execute this first and then change and create one more exercise with new options. Okay, new methods of options. So Ansible -playbook, execute this playbook.
Imran, we don't have any YAML editors, like, because it's
We
very
have
difficult.
YAML editor. No,
Yeah.
it is not difficult. See, that's why it's just a state of mind. Don't worry, it's not difficult. Okay, just if you write the playbook 2-3 times, okay, it's gonna become but very natural. Okay, there are YAML editors. You can use simple Notepad++ also. Okay, in
Yeah,
Windows,
yeah,
right?
preference
Or you can,
languages.
yeah, but it is not too much of syntax in YAML, right? See, there are only few things that you need to be careful with. Okay, spaces, all right, and list key value pairs. That's all. These are only two things. Okay, once you write playbook 2-3 times, okay, it will become very natural. I don't use editors.
Okay.
Okay, and even there was a first time for me also once for Ansible. I'm telling you from my own experience and from the experience of a lot of students who I have trained. Right, so this I'm gonna make more simpler. So exercise 2, copy to exercise 3. I'll send you this exercise. Okay, that's why I'm creating these directories. So now this is an older way of giving an option. The new way of giving the option is like this. So I say name equal to Apache 2. Instead of that, I can bring it down here. Make sure it's 2 spaces indented. Okay, two spaces are not mandatory, but it's a good practice. Okay, I can give options like this. This is much more cleaner way. Only thing you need to worry about is the spaces. Okay, this is the new way of giving options. Okay, and you should adopt the new ways. Okay, and it's very latest ways. Okay, when I was writing the book, that time they changed it this way. So you have to start using the new wave. I am habituated for a long time. I've written lots and lots of playbook. So I'm habituated of using this method. Okay, giving options all in one line. Okay, but they have changed it. They have made it better. Okay, this is more readable. Now check this out. Start Apache to service. Okay, now service module. Now module have options. So you just indented two spaces here. Okay, two spaces are standard, not mandatory. You can give one space, or you can give three space, or you can give 10 space. Okay, but two are, you know, standard, consider standard. So name colon, the name of the package, state, started, enabled, yes, all the options line by line. It's much more cleaner to read, and it's the same format your playbook is written in. Okay, let me take you to service module. Service module.
Uh,
So here, just a second, Asif.
yeah.
So here is a clear-cut example given over here. Okay, example: action to start service HTTPD if not running. If you want to do that, you can use this method. Okay, service, name of the service, and the state. Okay, you can directly copy paste this code in your system. Okay, and it works. Just have to be careful with the spaces. Okay. I don't have Apache HTTPD. I have Apache too. Right now, name is not mandatory. You don't need to mandatorily give name. Okay, but if you don't give name, then your module should start with a hyphen. Okay, but the problem you'll see now. Hyphen playbook. Right, so to my every task I have given a name, a title, and you can see it over here: install Apache to on Ubuntu, start Apache to create directory. But here the task that I just added, which says stop a service, okay, Apache 2, here I just see the name of the module, service module. Okay, I don't see anything else. So if I have multiple service module, I don't know which task is what. So name is not mandatory. Okay, but you know, it's a good practice. Always give a name. So we'll name our task here. Name colon stops Apache 2. Okay, now it's going to be better. So you don't need to go ahead and, you know, run around internet and find what do I, you know, what module do I use, what options do I use. There are clear-cut examples over here. Okay, the only thing you need to think about is what module do I use. You see the list of module, you find the module, you come to the examples. Okay, and you, let's say you wanted to restart an HTTPD, but you don't know how to do it. So you have to use service module. And says service, name of the service, and, you know, state restarted, and so on. Like that, every modules have examples, clear examples. I've shown you, I just copied it and I pasted it over there, right, and it worked. You want to example action to enable service HTTPD and not touch the running state. This is how you can do it. Okay, you want to enable the service, you want to reload the service, this is how you can do it for every module like that. Okay, I'll come here and I'll show you the documentation. Okay, and you'll use the same method over here. Okay, the only thing you should do is just give a name to your task. All right, it's always important to name your task. It's not mandatory. It works without that also, we have seen. Okay, so this is a newer method of giving the options. Okay, I recommend you use this method only. Okay, don't use the method that it's in the book. Okay, I'm gonna revise all those things and change. But here I have put in the book also when this came in the latest way. See, new and old argument styles. So I've given you old style here and given you new style to do the same thing. So go with the new style. All right, when I was writing this book, that time this new style came up, and I thought of, it's better for me to add it over there. Okay, right. In terms of editor, you can use Notepad++ or any other YAML editor of your choice. Right. There is if you're having difficulty in understanding YAML, there is a small section over here. It's YAML, tutorial, just YAML basics of YAML. Just read about it. Okay, there is very less complication in YAML. Okay, space, key value pair. That's all. All right. How do you give the list? This is how you give the list with a minus sign. All right. So that's gonna be all for today. All right. Just practice all this playbook and everything, and don't worry, we're gonna write lots of playbook. All right. So we're gonna do it so many times, and there's a lot of exercises over here to do. Tomorrow we'll show you. So this is list of tasks. Just execute the task one by one. Right. Tomorrow I'll show you how to make your playbook smart, making its own decisions. Right. And with executing variety of different tasks. All right. You have questions? You can ask me. That would be all for today.
Okay. Imran, in real-time scenarios, if I want to implement something in my organization, so I need to bring up with these tools with the security team and the compliance team that, yeah, because there are many, if you install any software or anything in the real-time scenarios, so how you bring this to the compliance team and how you get into the implementation part in the real-time with automation?
Are you talking about implementing Ansible itself, or are you talking about
No, any
implementing
automation, any
infrastructure
tool
with
into an
Ansible?
organization, any tool into the infrastructure, getting if I want to get something
See,
automated. So yeah,
See, any
so
tool that
every
you bring in any tool you bring in, introduce in your organization. For example, let's take example of Ansible. Now, Ansible is already acquired by Red Hat. There are compliance documents with Red Hat. So if they have concern with that, they can get the compliance document, read it. Okay, if they are good with the Ansible tool to be introduced in their infrastructure, they'll allow you, and nobody is going to stop you with Ansible, because Ansible doesn't poses any security threat in your organization, because it uses SSH as a communication method, which is a very secure method. For Windows machine, it uses WinRM, okay, which everybody used to do RDP connection. So Ansible doesn't pose any security threat. Let's take example of Jenkins. Now Jenkins had some security compliance issues, and they solved it very recently. I was showing you about the security with the Jenkins, right? Adding the user and all. Previously, they did not have users and so many things. So, security team definitely have issues with such kind of tools.
Mhm.
Okay, and you need to fix that, and you can fix that. You can secure these tools whatever we used so far. Okay, maybe Git or Maven or Jenkins or Ansible, any tool. Okay, but if they have the problem with the tool itself to be introduced in the organization, they have to justify it. Okay, and if they justifies it, you won't be able to use that tool. But I have never seen anybody, any compliance team, because I worked with them a lot of times. So Jenkins had an initial issue, as I told you, but if you secure it, they're good with it. So they have some set of tools that they run actually. Okay, that's going to show you, what are the security threats in your tool, and then you fix that thing, and it's okay. That's all. You can keep that tool.
Okay. One more thing would be whenever we install any HTTP service on multiple servers on from the control server, so the output it's displaying on the console itself. So
Right.
because it's gonna be because if I have 100 servers, so then I'll have the output of 100 machines, whatever that installation process goes on, so
That's true.
plugins and loading and
That's
all. So it's going to be very
Yeah,
difficult for me to dig how.
I got your point. Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Okay, hold on. So you want to store it into some file. You want to have a log file,
yeah, that
right?
would be
See,
great. Yeah, I can.
one thing is that you can redirect the output directly. Okay,
Okay.
Ansible gives you another method also in your Ansible configuration file. You have to specify the log file name.
Mhm.
Okay, and all that information will be stored into the log file. It will be also shown on the screen and also in the log file. So you get, it stores information, but it's not by default. You want to
Okay.
change that default thing, you use the Ansible configuration file. There is an option, okay,
Mhm.
and you can put that, and it's going to redirect everything to a log file. I have put that into Facebook group also, because that was the issue long time with Ansible. They did not have any log files, but they introduced it in from 2.0 version. Now there is a log file, but yeah, it's not the default nature. Okay, you
Okay.
have to give it in Ansible configuration file. All right,
Yeah.
you can go to the configuration section and find that file. I have posted once in the Facebook group also, so you can find there also Ansible log.
And if the invitations.
See,
Okay.
it's in, and Facebook invitation has not been, it's not sent. You have to send the request, and we accept it. And you know, I checked with them; they accepted all the invitations. If you, so you have to send it, Sai, the invitation to the Facebook group. If you still don't know the Facebook group name, it's Heuristic Devops by Imran. That's the name of the group. So you have to send the request and we accept it. If you have any question, concern, I don't see people posting it, so just go ahead and post it. What is this?
Imran, this is giving me error at the IP table section. I don't know why it's
Yeah,
been.
there is some problem with. I'll talk about that in the later
Yeah,
chapters when
sure.
we talk about.
No problems. That's helpful.
All right. And then we can add host groups also after Ansible command, right? That is Ansible DB host. Yeah, you can write after, you can write before also in the ad hoc command. That's not a problem. Okay, you in the book you have seen in two different places. Just wanted to show you that you can put it in different places. Okay, you can use here and there. That's it, it's convenient like that. It's flexible. Sorry. Okay. Okay, go through it, practice all those things. Okay, because it's we're gonna introduce few more new things tomorrow and day after tomorrow. All right, it's gonna be 2 more days. Yeah, we have a lot of things to do in Ansible, so just practice. Okay, or if you have not practiced, at least go through it. All right. That note, I'll say goodbye to you for today. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Take care. Bye bye. Have a great day and practice.